Welcome to Lesson 16.7 on European Union funding, with particular focus on Horizon Europe. The European Union represents one of the world's largest sources of research and innovation funding. Horizon Europe, the EU's current framework program, provides approximately 95 billion euros for research and innovation from 2021 through 2027. Understanding how to access EU funding opens significant opportunities for organizations with international research ambitions. This lesson examines the structure of Horizon Europe, eligibility rules for non-EU participants, the consortium requirement, and practical strategies for building European partnerships. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how Horizon Europe is organized, how U.S. organizations can participate, and what steps to take toward accessing EU research funding. Horizon Europe represents the EU's major investment in research and innovation, making it one of the largest transnational research funding programs in the world. With a budget of approximately 95 billion euros over 7 years, Horizon Europe offers substantial funding opportunities for aligned research. The program builds on decades of EU framework programs, including Horizon 2020, the 7th Framework Program, and earlier iterations. Each successive program has grown in scope and budget, reflecting the EU's commitment to research excellence and innovation. Horizon Europe emphasizes three key objectives: scientific excellence, addressing societal challenges, and fostering industrial competitiveness and innovation. Projects must demonstrate alignment with these objectives to succeed. Funding is distributed through competitive calls for proposals published in the Funding and Tenders portal. Calls specify topics, eligibility requirements, budgets, and evaluation criteria. The competitive nature means that only a fraction of proposals receive funding. Horizon Europe is organized into three main pillars, each serving distinct purposes. Pillar 1 focuses on excellent science, supporting fundamental research regardless of application. This pillar includes the European Research Council, or ERC, which funds frontier research, Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, supporting researcher mobility, and research infrastructure investments. Pillar 2 addresses global challenges and European industrial competitiveness through thematic clusters. Clusters cover health, culture, civil security, digital, climate, food, and energy. Research in this pillar must address specific societal challenges defined by the EU. Pillar 3, Innovative Europe, supports innovation ecosystems and helps research results reach markets. The European Innovation Council, or EIC, provides funding for breakthrough innovations and scale-up of innovative companies. Cross-cutting elements span all pillars, including emphasis on open science, gender equality, and synergies with other EU programs. Different pillars suit different types of research and innovation, so understanding the structure helps identify where your work fits best. Pillar 2 organizes research around 6 thematic clusters addressing major societal challenges. The health cluster supports research on disease prevention and treatment, health systems strengthening, and digital health technologies. Global health challenges and pandemic preparedness receive significant attention. Culture, creativity, and inclusive society addresses democracy and governance, cultural heritage, and social transformation. This cluster supports research on European identity, social cohesion, and creative industries. Civil security for society covers disaster resilience, crime prevention, security research, and cybersecurity. Research helps European institutions and citizens address security challenges. Digital, industry, and space supports advanced computing, manufacturing, and materials research. Space research and digital technologies feature prominently. Climate, energy, and mobility addresses climate change mitigation, clean energy transitions, and sustainable transport. This cluster receives substantial funding given EU climate commitments. Food, bioeconomy, natural resources, and environment cover sustainable food systems, biodiversity, and natural resource management. Research supports the EU's green agenda. Most Horizon Europe collaborative research calls require multi-partner consortia rather than single organization applications. This consortium requirement reflects the EU's emphasis on cross-border collaboration and knowledge sharing. The typical minimum requirement is 3 partners from 3 different EU member states or associated countries. Associated countries have agreements allowing their organizations to participate fully. The specific requirements vary by call, so check each opportunity carefully. Consortium members share the work and funding allocation according to agreed arrangements. Each partner takes responsibility for specific work packages or tasks and receives a corresponding share of the budget. The coordinator leads proposal development and project management throughout the award period. Coordinators handle communication with the European Commission, manage reporting, and ensure consortium cohesion. Partners contribute complementary expertise and capabilities that justify their participation. Strong consortia bring together diverse skills that no single organization could provide alone. U.S. organizations can participate in most Horizon Europe collaborative research calls, though with important limitations. The U.S. is classified as a non-associated third country, affecting both participation rules and funding eligibility. U.S. organizations typically participate as partners rather than coordinators. The coordinator role usually requires an organization from an EU member state or associated country. U.S. partners contribute expertise while European partners lead the consortium. Funding eligibility is limited for third country participants. U.S. organizations are generally not eligible to receive Horizon Europe funding directly. However, exceptions exist for specific calls where international cooperation is essential to achieving objectives. When U.S. organizations are not eligible for EU funding, they often self-fund their participation or bring parallel funding from U.S. sources. Some organizations budget their Horizon Europe contributions into other grants or use institutional resources. Specific calls may have different third country rules, so checking eligibility for each opportunity is essential. Some calls explicitly encourage or require international partners, while others restrict participation to EU and associated country organizations. Building relationships with potential European partners is essential for accessing Horizon Europe funding. Several strategies can help identify and connect with appropriate partners. Professional networks and conference connections often provide the best starting points. International conferences in your field bring together researchers who might become consortium partners. Existing professional relationships can expand into funding partnerships. The European Commission's Funding and Tenders portal includes partner search services where organizations post profiles and partnership interests. Searching these databases can identify potential partners with complementary expertise and interests. National Contact Points, or NCPs, exist in each EU member state and associated country to support Horizon Europe participation. NCPs can help identify potential partners in their countries and facilitate introductions. Existing research collaborations provide natural starting points for consortium building. Co-authors, former collaborators, and research network members may be interested in joint proposals. Research networks and associations with European membership connect you to potential partners. Many disciplinary associations have European chapters or members who might be interested in collaboration. The Horizon Europe application process follows structured steps through the Funding and Tenders portal. Registration in the portal is required for all participating organizations. Registration involves obtaining a Participant Identification Code, or PIC, which identifies your organization in all EU funding interactions. Complete registration well before you plan to apply. Monitoring calls aligned with your research interests helps identify opportunities. Subscribe to notifications in your areas, review work programs when they are published, and discuss upcoming calls with potential partners. Developing your consortium before call deadlines is essential. Consortium building, role negotiation, and partnership agreements take time. Rushed consortium development produces weaker proposals. Preparing proposals according to specific call templates ensures compliance with requirements. Templates specify required sections, page limits, and evaluation criteria. Follow templates precisely. Submission through the portal must occur before the deadline. Technical difficulties can arise, so plan to submit early. The portal records submission time, and late submissions are not accepted. Horizon Europe proposals undergo rigorous evaluation by independent expert evaluators following established criteria. Understanding these criteria helps you write stronger proposals. Independent expert evaluators are recruited from across Europe and beyond based on relevant expertise. Evaluators assess proposals without knowing applicant identities in some schemes, while others use identified evaluation. 3 standard evaluation criteria apply to most collaborative research proposals. Excellence assesses the scientific and technological quality of the proposed research, its ambition, and its novelty. Strong proposals demonstrate cutting-edge approaches addressing important research questions. Impact evaluates expected outcomes and how they will benefit science, economy, and society. Proposals must articulate clear pathways from research to impact and describe dissemination strategies that maximize reach. Implementation examines the work plan and management approach. Evaluators assess whether the proposed work is realistic, whether the consortium has appropriate capabilities, and whether management structures will ensure success. Each criterion receives a score with thresholds that must be met and overall ranking determining funding decisions. Successful proposals proceed through grant agreement negotiation before implementation begins. Grant agreements establish the legal relationship between the consortium and the European Commission. These agreements specify deliverables, milestones, reporting requirements, and financial terms. Negotiation may involve adjustments to budget or work plan. Consortium agreements govern internal relationships among partners, including intellectual property arrangements, decision-making procedures, and conflict resolution mechanisms. These internal agreements complement the grant agreement with the Commission. Reporting requirements are substantial and regular. Projects submit periodic reports documenting progress, financial spending, and deliverable completion. Reports undergo review by project officers and may trigger payments or require clarification. Financial management follows EU rules that differ from U.S. grant conventions. Eligible costs, overhead rates, and documentation requirements all follow EU specifications. Organizations new to EU funding need to understand these rules. Project officers at the European Commission monitor progress throughout the project period. They review reports, attend consortium meetings, and serve as the primary Commission contact for questions and issues. Beyond collaborative research in Horizon Europe's Pillar 2, other EU funding mechanisms may suit different needs. The European Research Council, or ERC, funds frontier research across all fields. ERC grants support individual investigators pursuing ambitious, high-risk research. These highly prestigious grants are extremely competitive but offer substantial resources and prestige. Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions support researcher mobility and training. These fellowships enable researchers to work in other countries, gaining experience and building international networks. The European Innovation Council, or EIC, supports breakthrough innovations and scale-up. EIC funding includes grants for pathfinder research and blended finance for companies with high innovation potential. European partnerships bring together EU funding with national and private investments in specific sectors. Partnerships operate in areas like clean hydrogen, health, and digital technologies. External action funds through the European Commission's development cooperation support global development work. These funds operate differently from research funding, but offer opportunities for development-focused organizations. Several strategies increase success probability in Horizon Europe applications, starting with strong European partners who know the system provides essential guidance. Partners experienced with EU funding can navigate processes, avoid pitfalls, and contribute to proposal quality. Their track record also strengthens the consortium's credibility. Participating as a partner before attempting coordination allows you to learn the system without bearing full responsibility. Observe how experienced coordinators manage proposals and projects before taking the lead yourself. Investing heavily in the excellence and impact sections pays dividends. These sections carry significant weight in evaluation. Clearly articulating scientific quality and expected benefits requires substantial effort but determines success. Aligning closely with call topics and EU priorities demonstrates responsiveness to what the Commission seeks to fund. Proposals that fit call topics precisely perform better than those that stretch fit. Allowing ample time for consortium development ensures you can build genuine partnerships rather than assembling hasty coalitions. Strong consortia emerge from relationships developed over months or years, not weeks. Horizon Europe presents challenges that organizations should understand before investing significant effort. Highly competitive success rates mean most proposals will not be funded. Success rates often fall below 20%, sometimes below 10% for popular calls. Organizations must approach Horizon Europe as a long-term strategy rather than expecting immediate success. Complex administrative requirements and bureaucracy challenge organizations unfamiliar with EU systems. The Commission has worked to simplify processes, but substantial administrative burden remains. Dedicated administrative support helps manage this complexity. Consortium management across institutions and countries requires significant coordination effort. Partners operate in different time zones, with different academic calendars, and under different institutional rules. Effective coordination demands ongoing attention. Funding limitations for non-EU participants mean U.S. organizations typically must find alternative funding for their contributions. This requirement adds complexity to budget planning and may limit participation scope. Different working cultures and expectations across partners can create friction. Communication styles, decision-making approaches, and work patterns vary across European countries. Cultural awareness helps navigate these differences. Multiple resources support organizations seeking Horizon Europe funding. The Funding and Tenders portal is the authoritative source for all Horizon Europe information. The portal hosts calls, submission systems, guidance documents, and partner search tools. Becoming familiar with the portal is essential for any organization pursuing EU funding. National contact points in each member state and associated country provide guidance tailored to their national contexts. While U.S. organizations cannot access NCPs directly, European partners can connect you with relevant NCP support. Work programs published for each cluster and initiative detail upcoming call topics, expected budgets, and submission deadlines. Reviewing work programs helps identify relevant opportunities and plan proposal development. The European Commission hosts informational webinars and events explaining program elements and providing application guidance. Recordings are often available for those who cannot attend live sessions. Professional networks share experience and advice about Horizon Europe participation. Colleagues who have navigated the system can provide practical insights that formal guidance may not cover. Cultivating these relationships supports learning. Today's lesson explored European Union funding with focus on Horizon Europe. We established that Horizon Europe is among the world's largest research funding programs, with approximately €95 billion available for 2021 through 2027. The program supports excellent science, addresses global challenges, and fosters innovation. Consortium-based applications are typically required for collaborative research, with minimum requirements often including 3 partners from 3 different EU or associated countries. The consortium approach reflects EU emphasis on cross-border collaboration. U.S. organizations can participate in most calls, though typically as partners rather than coordinators, and often without direct EU funding. Self-funding or parallel funding arrangements enable U.S. participation despite funding limitations. Strong European partnerships are essential for success. Building relationships with potential partners, learning from experienced European colleagues, and investing in consortium development all contribute to eventual success. Organizations should approach Horizon Europe as a long-term strategy. In our next lesson, we examine UK and Commonwealth funding, exploring major funders like the Wellcome Trust and UK Research and Innovation. Thank you for engaging with these concepts about European Union funding opportunities.